Hey, thanks for checking out the video. If you all like it, please like and subscribe, and hope you all enjoy it. Have a great rest of the day.
Over here. Halt. Front. Face. Watch your dress. Put your arm up. Audio. Violence. Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry to crouch up here like this, get really close. It's really hot in the sun. So, can I get you guys to move your benches back a little bit, and maybe you guys get your benches back a little bit? You guys might want to turn yours a little bit, just turn it, just to give these guys a little bit of shade. Just a little bit, just like right here. Well, that's farther than I meant, but works. All right, thank you guys. My name is Jason. I'm the site's historic interpreter here at Fort Dobbs. Guys, welcome. Now, we're getting ready to do a firing demonstration. We're going to show you how these guns work. How many of you have picked up on the theme of this event, this weekend's event? Like, what year is it supposed to be? 1760? 60? 60? And we're talking about events that happened far to the west in the mountains of North Carolina. The British had sent a small force of soldiers to South Carolina to fight the Cherokee during the Anglo-Cherokee War. And some of the soldiers they sent were the 77th Regiment of Foot, soldiers raised in the Highlands of Scotland who volunteered to join the British Army to fight in North America. Now, these guys were very quickly raised. The British had no problem recruiting troops in Scotland. It was very easy. And in fact, they recruited so successfully, they ended up having to make these regiments much larger than they anticipated. Now, these guys, most of them have no clue what weapons are, how they work, right? But in the Army, you get trained. And these guys were trained as they crossed the Atlantic Ocean on ships. And by the time they got to Charleston, South Carolina in 1760, they had a parade when they got off the ships, and they showed off their skills. And it was remarked that these soldiers had excelled at what was called the Prussian drill. It was the newest version of the British Army's manual of arms. They're marching, they're loading their guns, their maneuver, everything. These guys were outstanding experts at this. And it was a point of pride. To get to that point, these guys had to go through a lot of training. And before you even get a gun, you have to be taught how to stand. Now, why is your gun like that? What? He needs remedial help. No. I'm sorry. Now, you have to learn how to stand correctly. You notice these guys are standing, their heels are not together, they're very slightly apart. Their toes are pointed outward. There's not a, nobody went around with a little square and said, this is the right angle, that's the wrong angle. It's a comfortable stance. You stand with your legs slightly bent so you can move them, because if you lock them, what happens?
Collapse.
You have to cut off your own blood supply. So you stand comfortably. You have to keep your back straight. Keep your stomach in, your chest out, your chin up. Handle arms. Shoulder your firelocks. Now, when they're under command at a parade like this, they should be looking very slightly to the right with the left eye over the center of their bodies, because all of their commands are going to be coming from this side. When you're training and you're marching, these guys have to be able to walk together, do things together. You have to be able to see what everybody else is doing. This keeps them focused so they can learn how to do this stuff, so later on they can do it without thinking. Now, to let them know that I'm going to be running through a step-by-step slow loading process, my first command, actually I'm going to turn them around and I'm going to walk through it facing you guys, because we're going to go ahead and load, okay? Right about, face. Now, they're standing with their guns at the shoulder. To let them know we're going to be doing a very slow step-by-step loading procedure, I will say take care to perform the firing exercise. Join your right hand to your fire lock. Twist the gun, grab it by the right hand, by the wrist with the right hand, and recover your arms. Bring the gun up in front of you. The next command is handle cartridge. The gun is brought down in the cradle of the arms. You take a small step backwards with your right foot. You push the pan open on your gun. Grab your, slap your cartridge box that holds your ammunition. Open the flap. Take a cartridge out. Cartridges are a little tube of paper that contain a musket ball and a pre-measured amount of gunpowder. Soldier takes one out, brings it up to the corner of his mouth, and awaits the next command, which is uncap cartridge. He rips the top of that cartridge off, exposing the gunpowder. He puts it down by the pan, and he waits the next command, which is prime. He pours a tiny bit of gunpowder into that pan, puts his hands on the back of, fingers, not hands, on the back of the hammer, and waits, shut pans. Shut the pan, drop the gun down in front of them, and you put the cartridge up to the barrel. To get the cartridge and the musket ball and everything in the barrel, you say, charge with cartridge. They tip the cartridge up, push it into the top of the barrel with the musket ball on top, and then they draw their ramrod out just a little bit, and the command is draw, rammers. They draw their ramrod out, place the tip into the barrel, and the next command is ram down cartridge. Ram it down, flip the ramrod back around, put it back into the pipes in the bottom of the barrel, and you return rammers. Return the ramrod, bring the gun up, and from here, I can tell them to make ready, I can tell them to shoulder and march around, I can tell them to do all kinds of different stuff. I'm going to tell them, make ready! They cock the gun. At the same time, you take a very small step backwards. It's a very comfortable pose. Present. They present the gun to point it in the direction of the enemy, and they take aim. The command present means aim. You take specific aim down the barrel at a target who you intend to hit. You guys might want to cover your ears. There! Okay. One of the guns you noticed didn't go off, right? So he's actually been having a problem with that gun. It doesn't want to spark for some reason. There's a number of things that can factor into this. The flint could be dull. It is a piece of stone that gets repeatedly bashed into a piece of metal, so it can get dull very easily. That will make it not spark. It could be that the powder in the pan has fallen out. There's nothing to catch a spark. It could be that it's so humid out, the gunpowder has absorbed too much moisture and made itself inert. Try to do a fire again. Go ahead, just on your own. Yeah, you're not even casting a spark. Go ahead and dump it. Now the other two gentlemen who did fire, we go through this training over and over and over so that in combat, you do not have to be told every single little step. You can simply be given the command, prime and load! And they immediately prime and load the gun without being told every little tiny step. They should be able to do this in about 15 seconds. And in combat, you're expected to be able to fire 4 rounds in 1 minute. That's 15 seconds to load and fire the gun and hit a target. Not quite 15 seconds. Make ready! Present! Cover your ears. Fire! And one went off. Let's try again. Try it 3 times. If you don't fire in 3 tries, Go ahead and dump it. Just gonna go ahead and let him do it.
Man, today's just not our day.
Did you hear the delay in that?
Yeah.
That's humidity. When it's not super humid, that thing will go off like that. It should take about 1/100th of a second. But the more humid it gets, the slower the gunpowder ignites and combusts. So that concludes our firing demonstration. Do you guys have questions? You know all of it. I can ask you questions.
How heavy is the musket?
The long guns that the British Army typically carried weigh 9.5 pounds. The guns that the 77th Regiment of Foot carried weighed about 7 pounds. They were issued what's called carbines. These troops are a little bit specialized. They're expected to be able to move quicker. They're expected to be able to close with the enemy, be more aggressive on the battlefield, and they're given slightly smaller weapons that they can load faster and are easier to lug around over long distances. So they weigh about 7 pounds or so. It has a 37-inch barrel and it is 62 caliber, meaning it fires a ball that's about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. What are you? Bilox. It fires a ball that's about 5/8 of an inch in diameter, whereas the British regular gun has a 46-inch barrel, weighs 9.5 pounds, and it fires a ball that is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter.
That's not a brown vest, is it?
Brown vest is the modern term. It's actually called a longland pattern firelock. But yes, it's a brown vest. The first version of it. A shorter version came out in 1769 that had a 42-inch barrel instead of a 46-inch barrel. So, and you should be able to hit a man-sized target, about that big, with one of these smoothbore weapons at about 100 yards with every single shot. It's actually not hard to do with a little bit of training. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
And how do you clean it?
Give me 1 second. Trailer, Bilox. Right about. Face. 3 steps to the front. March. More shady. 1 more step to the front. There you go. His arms. Lots and lots of water.
Hot water, more
Boiled
specifically.
water, gunpowder. The mixture is actually water soluble. You take the end of the ramrod